Kiki here, Kylie. I know I said in my videos that yoga is for everybody, but like I said, it can be really discouraging when you see all these very flexible people doing all these things, and you know, most people's bodies don't do that. So I really wanted to go into a couple poses. I had a request. I know some cancer survivors and people have been through trauma, and people who are very overweight and just their bodies aren't used to doing these kinds of moves. So I just wanted to go through a couple things that might be beneficial for them to do on a regular basis, and just get some exercise and some flow going and allow them to feel better in their body. So I'm going to go through a couple poses I've probably already gone over. The first one is child's pose. This is a great resting pose, but it relieves stress, anxiety, tension, but it also stretches your body, so it's very good for you. So you can use, if you have yoga blocks, you can use those. If you don't, I'm sure everybody has a big stack of books somewhere. So you can also just grab a big stack of books and literally use those as yoga blocks. So for child's pose, you would put a block or a stack of books, and you would lower yourself down on top of them. And sit on them. Your knees are going to be out to the side, tucked under, and you're just going to walk yourself down as you exhale into this posture where you're stretching your spine and breathing into that space and just allowing yourself to just give yourself some more space and relieve any stress or tension. You can also take some stretches for the side of your body, so you can walk your arms over to the right or the left and just hold that and breathe there. And that's going to give you great side body stretches for those inner abdominal muscles, and it massages your organs, so that's going to be really good for you. The next thing I'm going to tell you to work on after child's pose would be some cat-cows. So cat-cows are amazing for the spine. They are amazing for your whole body, just to kind of stretch and get some fluidity in the joints. Cat-cows are, I know a lot of people have very tender knees. So I would say put a blanket under your knees like this. And I'm going to use my blocks, but like I said, you could use a big stack of books as well. And you can do it without the blocks, just from a tabletop position if you're able to do that. But I know some people might need a little bit more height. It just helps their body a little bit. So you just want to make sure your knees are hip distance apart, and your knees are going to be directly under your hips, just like your wrists are going to be directly under your shoulders. So for cat-cows, you're going to start in a neutral tabletop position. And as you inhale from your neutral tabletop position, you're going to have a back straight. And when you're in this neutral position, I want you to think of it as if you have one line of energy going from your tailbone through the crown of your head. So you're trying to be as neutral and straight as possible. Your shoulders are relaxed down the back. They're not scrunched up by the knees. Your hips are right under. Everything is just equally supporting you, just like a table. So for your cat on your inhale, you are not going to change any of your, your shoulders or your hips or anything. You're just going to let your belly drop, let your tailbone tuck up, and let your chest lift and open. And, it might not look like that. Your spine might not let you have that much movement. So just whatever feels comfortable to whatever point, you know, and if it hurts for your neck to come up too, if you have neck issues, just look forward and just get that belly drop, your tailbone up, and feel that nice stretch in the lower back. It can relieve sciatica, any tension or pressure you might have. And then you're gonna do, on your exhale, you're gonna do cow. So as you exhale, you're gonna do this exact opposite. So from your tailbone, you're gonna start tucking your tailbone under and then curving your spine the opposite way so that you're pushing it into a curve. Your chin's tucked and you're gazing at your belly button. Inhale, back to cat. Exhale to cow. And doing this with your breath just creates much more space, and it kind of creates like a movement meditation, so you can just start going through and getting some mobility back in your body. You know, if you're not used to having any mobility, you know, you could look like this one day and just keep doing this, and you know, in no time, you know, you won't have blocks and you'll be, you know, all over the place. So those are some great exercises. Another great exercise is, I know downward dog looks really hard, but you can make it a little bit easier. So for downward dog, you could use your stack of books, 2 blocks, give you a little bit of height. So you're gonna keep your shoulders the same way they are in tabletop. So you're in the same position you were in tabletop. All you're gonna do is tuck your toes under, engage your core and your quads, lift your knees, and use your arms to push back, and then slowly straighten your legs, you know, and they're probably not gonna, your heels aren't probably gonna touch the floor. They're probably gonna look like this. The most important thing is that you can feel equal distribution between your feet and your arms, and that you're getting some length in your spine. And you're strengthening your shoulders, you're strengthening your legs, and you're strengthening all these muscles. And just hold here for about 5 to 10 breaths. You know, and push down through your heels if you can, as much as you can, whatever's comfortable. Just keep your tailbone lifted and your back straight, arms straight, and your hands are flat, spread wide to give you support on those blocks. So that's another great one too. You can lower down. And then another great just spinal mobility movement exercise is just gonna be going from our standing pose, which is Tadasana. So it's just a very balanced standing pose. Your feet are gonna be hips width, so your feet are directly under your sitting bones. They're firmly planted on the ground to give you support. You can even lift your toes, push them back down so that you can feel those arches. And it gives you some engagement in your legs and your core so that you feel like you're standing firm. And relax your shoulders. You want your chest to be lifted, but not, you don't want your ribs or anything sticking out. You want a very neutral spine. So on your inhale, you're gonna breathe in, lift your arms, keep those shoulders down though. And as you exhale, you're gonna fold forward. But the most important part of folding forward is keeping your spine straight and bending forward from these hip flexors. So you're engaging your core to pull yourself in. And you're gonna have 2 blocks here, and they're gonna help you because, you know, you might not be able to get very far. So as you inhale, and then exhale to breathe to full forward. And your knees can be bent here. So you're folded forward and have these blocks for support. And you still have all these muscles engaged. The inner thigh line, the outer thigh line, your core is still engaged. And then you wanna, on your next inhale, you wanna halfway lift. So you're gonna use your legs and your core to lift up and your arms to lift up halfway to create some more strength and some more space in your spine. And then you're gonna fold back forward on your exhale. Inhale, exhale. So when you inhale, you extend. When you exhale, you contract. So that's some great movement just to start moving. If you want a little more heat, there is an exercise. I can never remember the name of it. It's Tadasana. So it's one of my favorites. So with your feet spread out, you want to have that same alignment. So your glutes are slightly engaged, just so they're not sticking out. You know, your spine's straight. But you want to tighten your core, and you want to move from one side to the other. The only important thing here is to keep your knees and your toes always facing the same direction. But you know, it's just gonna start to give you some movement and heat you up a little bit. Eventually, as you develop, you know, more movement in your hips and some more strength in your core and your spine, you'll be able to start getting low and lower. So those are just a couple things. If I think of some more things, I'll post another video. I don't want to go on a huge rant, but I hope that helps. And yeah, just move, do what feels natural. You know, yoga is a balance between engagement and letting things go. So where you feel a good, comfortable stretch, you know, try to let go and breathe into that stretch. But you want to engage the muscles that protect us, like our core and our pelvis and, you know, our shoulders. These are all very susceptible to injury. So you want to make sure that before you start doing all these crazy things, you have to have the strength. So doing those simple exercises are going to give you more strength to be able to move better and more effectively. So I hope you have a great day, and namaste.